Do you ever have those days where you go out to meet pretty girls and no matter what you do, every girl just seems to be either rejecting you, she has a boyfriend, she's in a hurry, or she's just flat out not receptive? Well, this is actually quite a common experience. And on my most recent live 5-day immersion program in Krakow, Poland, I also had a client that went through the exact same thing. He approached 10, maybe 15 girls in a row, and every single one of them just completely palmed him off, rejected him, had a boyfriend, or just was flat out not receptive. So in this video, I share with you a behind the scenes clip of me coaching this guy to help him with his mindset on this and how to actually self-audit what might be potentially going on so we can make the necessary changes so we can start getting the results that he's looking for. I talk about things like his social skills, his internal world, and also how we need to judge the environment to determine what might be going on and what's causing the lack of receptivity with the women that he's meeting. So guys, if you want to watch this clip, make sure to watch it and I will see you at the end of the video.
So obviously throughout today's session, you've obviously come across a lot of, I guess like girls being fucking pretty busy, they've got boyfriends, they're engaged, they're married. Even just like a few chicks that are like in a massive rush or even like potentially fucking rejecting you off the approach. I want you to really understand, bro, that's actually quite normal to have that happen on occasion. For myself, for Ben, for all of our clients, for anyone that does cold approach, but for any dude that is trying to improve their dating life, right? You go through stages where you go out and you put yourself out there, and sometimes girls are gonna be super receptive and you absolutely crush it one day. And then other days, girls are just like today, where just over and over and over again, every chick's in a fucking rush. Every chick has a fucking boyfriend, or she's married, or she's just, maybe potentially too, you're just not exactly their type. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier to you in the session, sometimes, bro, you gotta look at it like this. You gotta break it down first of all. If you're getting a lot of girls that aren't being super receptive to you, you have to ask yourself, okay, cool. Is it a technical thing in terms of my social skills? How I'm behaving, how I'm opening, my sub-communications, my body language, things like this. And then also how I'm actually just communicating in general in terms of my conversational skills. If you can look at that and diagnose it and go, okay, cool, I'm pretty sure like my sub-comms are on point, I'm holding strong eye contact, I'm speaking loud enough, I'm coming across quite confident, I'm transitioning the conversation quite smoothly. And you can break that down and recognize that like you're doing a pretty good job, then most likely, the second thing you need to look at, it could potentially be something internal. And the way that both myself and Ben look at this is like, the universe or the world or reality is a direct reflection of our internal world. It's like a mirror, yeah? So sometimes if you are a little bit, let's say, attached to the outcome, like so for the other day, right? You went on an instant date and we went out last night, you had a great time. Sometimes you get attached to the progress that you've made and you want to have like girls being receptive to you and like laughing at your jokes and having good conversations because it feels good. We feel validated, it's nice, and we want to continue to have that experience. And sometimes when you have a string of rejections in a row, it kind of crashes our state a little bit, and then we kind of get attached to that previous version of ourselves where we're killing it. So when you become attached to the outcome, it's almost coming from a place of like mental and emotional and even spiritual fucking scarcity, yeah? Because you are basically, when you become attached to the outcome, you're wanting a good reaction or you're wanting positive results, and it's coming from a place of, oh, I'm not actually enough, or I'm not feeling good about myself, or I'm not getting the results that I want. And that mental state is then reflected too. So all the other women that you meet, all the other people that you interact with, it will reflect that state of being of like, I want, which means you don't actually have. Yeah, if you say I want good reactions, or I want the girls to be receptive, or I want to have a good day, that's you psychologically and emotionally saying, it's basically implying to yourself that you aren't having a good day, you're not feeling good about yourself, you're not in that place of abundance, and you just get a little bit attached to the outcome. So the universe actually just reflects that to you. So sometimes it's an internal thing. Other things too could be like, you're putting pressure on yourself to perform as well. It's like, okay, I'm out here practicing a new skill set. So let's say for our skilled questions, right, our level 1, level 2, level 3 questions that we teach. Sometimes psychologically for yourself, it's like you're putting so much fucking mental energy on making sure that you're asking your level 1, level 2, level 3 questions. And you're not just coming from a place of genuine curiosity and just enjoying the presence of the woman and actually just having like a nice conversation and feeling into her energy and just enjoying the process. You get very psychologically focused on like, okay, how do I use the technique, or how do I have better conversations, or how's my sub-communications, am I holding eye contact? And you get in your head. And again, in terms of how you're communicating, that creates a block. Instead of just being present to the moment and relaxed and just enjoying, like going with the flow and actually interacting with these girls, you're literally just so focused on what's happening, and because you're not present to the moment anymore, it creates a disconnect, yeah? And that's the cool thing, is as we practice over and over and over again with the different social skills that we teach, we get you to a point of unconscious competence where you no longer have to think about what you're doing. But right now you're in like conscious competence. It's like you know what you need to do, but you have to force it to have it happen, but it's still a little bit clunky. So those are some internal things. And then we also have to look at the environment. Like if you're having a day out here, as I mentioned to you earlier as well, if you're having a day where you're just getting a string of rejections or girls are in a massive fucking rush, sometimes you have to look at the environment. It might not even necessarily be you, it might just be the environment itself. And if you look around, like the volume's really high, but everyone's walking really quickly, everyone seems to be in a rush. You can feel the energy of the environment. It's a little bit more hectic. So that way, when you can recognize these things too, you don't blame yourself always and just think, oh, is it me? Am I not attractive? Is my social skills shit? Am I the reason why these girls aren't into me? Potentially, maybe sometimes if like you look at the technical level, there's some things that you could fix for sure. And maybe on an internal level, the mirror of reality is reflected to you in terms of your internal emotional state. Fine, that's okay. But a lot of the times too, it's just the environment, yeah? And I think like from what me and Ben have experienced over the years, Fridays, like the volume's always high, but the girls that you meet on these days are usually fucking pretty busy. Like they're going shopping, they're catching up with their friends, they have dinner plans. That, like for example, here in Krakow, a lot of these girls are going back to their villages, so they're not necessarily in the most receptive state to actually be approached. And for a lot of girls too, like that actually is a big thing. Like sometimes, you know, if they're like heavily focused on like, you know, going to the shops, running errands or catching up with their friends, they got that sole focus to do that activity, they're not really in the mindset of like, oh, I'd love a really nice guy to come and approach me today and have a conversation. They're just focused on that. And sometimes like for girls to be receptive, they just need to be in that state of being where they're just kind of relaxed and just going with the flow and enjoying the weather and doing a little bit of shopping. Those usually are the times where the girls are the most receptive, and usually it's not a fucking Friday. So I think that's actually another big contributing factor. And then also the other thing too, which not many people talk about, and I see this as a gift, yeah. Sometimes with this stuff, bro, it's a gift from the universe, because sometimes when you have just a string of rejections or like a really bad day, it completely destroys your ego. And when your ego gets completely destroyed, you get to the point where you no longer have any expectations of anything happening. Because sometimes when you go out with the expectation to get results or have girls be receptive to you or get numbers or go on instant dates and you expect it, it's a form of attachment, it's a form of scarcity, and you're trying to force it. And energetically, from just a pure manifestation perspective, right, to synchronistically have the things that you want to come into your life and and have the women that come into your life as well, you can't have that level of attachment. So sometimes the universe will literally create circumstances where you have a string of rejections in a row to the point you lose all that expectation for anything positive to happen and have cool references or meet nice goals. And as soon as you detach, because you get to the point of like almost surrender and giving up, because you're like, fuck, no matter what I do, no matter how I'm communicating, no matter how much volume I'm running, no matter how many girls I'm approaching, I can't make anything happen. What's the fucking point? I give up. It's the moment you surrender to that and you just acknowledge like you have no control over the environment right now, you have no control over the situation apart from you being able to do the absolute best that you can do in terms of making the approaches, having the good social skills, being mindful of your own internal mindsets and things. Beyond that, you have no control. And as soon as you can reach that point, a lot of times, that's the point where the universe will just be like, okay, you've gone through it'll give you the string of rejections and just manifest that into your reality. And then when you get to the point where you just surrender and just give up and just go, fuck it, I give up anymore, I give up right now, I surrender, I have no control over my environment, I'm just gonna continue to do the best of my ability but without any expectations, all of a sudden the universe will throw you the fucking hottest girl of the day, she's super receptive, you get a number, you set up a date, or you take her on an instant date, or even fucking like, dude, sometimes you get lucky and end up meeting a girl and take her home, whatever. And then you end up manifesting the exact thing that you want to bring into your life. So sometimes the universe does it for you, and you got to see it as a gift. Anytime I go out and I have a string of like fucking gnarly rejections, bro, or like girls have all got boyfriends or they're all busy, no one's receptive to me, my ego always gets hit. Because like, we're human, bro. Like there's nothing worse than approaching a pretty girl that you're genuinely into over and over and over again, and she's just not interested, you know, she's not receptive. So, yeah, I think like the biggest thing is just to understand this is very normal for all of us to have days like this. And for me, again, as I was just mentioning before, like when that happens to me and I have those string of rejections, I kind of in the back of my mind just go, you know what, it's one of those days, the universe is obviously reflecting this to me for a reason. I'm just gonna embrace it, realize I have no control, and every single time I just embrace it, all of a sudden the universe always usually brings me something and I end up meeting like the most amazing girls. So I just think that's just something to be mindful of, and that's how you can have a more positive perspective on shit days as well. So again, you break it down. It's like, okay, cool. Is my social skills on point? Yes or no? If it is, sweet. Is it my internal world, my mindsets, my belief systems, etc., and what's being reflected to me? If that seems to be on point, then maybe it's the environment. And then also from a purely like hippie standpoint, from a spiritual perspective, which I love to embrace these concepts, right? Because it resonates with me. And I truly believe like this is a big contributing factor to why we have blocks like this. If you get a day full of blocks where just nothing's going your way, see it as the universe is giving you a gift to detach from the outcome, destroy the ego, and get to the point of surrender so then you can receive. That's how I look at it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Sweet, so hopefully you guys enjoyed these behind the scenes coaching clips, and if you got some value from it, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And guys, if you want to get access to more content that we can't actually post here on YouTube, then feel free to join our free private Facebook group where we post a shit ton more dating and self-development content. And also guys, I might as well throw it out there. If you want to do a coaching program, you want to do a mentorship online, or you want to work with us in person, then all you got to do is click on the link in the description to book a free consultation call for all coaching inquiries. But until then guys, see you in the next video.